Hi, I'm Nicole, and welcome to the Northern Oasis Bed and Breakfast in Kapuskasing, and you're watching SnowTrails TV.
We're starting another day of touring here in the paradise of Ontario in Kapuskasing. We're headed off to Hearst. They tell me about a 3-hour ride. It's about 75 miles each way from Kapuskasing. Here's the old steam engines and the paper mill that the New York Times was printed on. Let's hit the trails here on SnowTrails TV and have some fun riding in Northern Ontario.
I'm still riding my Polaris 700 Classic 2-stroke and have added a Tour Buddy fuel tank so I can come close to the distance mileage of the newer technology, clean-burning 4-stroke motors. It gives me an additional 2 3/4 gallons of gas. We are riding what is called the Northern Corridor along the Top A Trail.
In the district, District 15, known as the Northern Corridor, we operate with 8 clubs. Very well integrated. They work very well together to keep about 1,800 to 1,900 kilometers of trails open for 16 to 17 weeks during the winter. We do have winters like this one where it will be 12 to 13. And the reason we have long seasons is because our vast amount of volunteers that we have get out real early in the fall and branch the trails, they ice up the creeks and get ready for you. And as soon as we get the snow, normally we get going. For the end of the trail season, it all depends on Mother Nature, of course. She's usually pretty good to us. Because we have 1,900 kilometers of trails, we can offer, instead of saddlebagging through the corridor, you can actually stay like in Cochrane for a couple of days and do the Abitibi Canyon run. You can come to Kapuskasing and do local trails for 2-3 days. Hearst also has a great variety of trails which you can stay for a couple of days. So as you can see, you can stay here for a week and have no problem finding good places to ride without hauling your baggage. Nice flat trails, easy riding. Trails in this area are flat. They go through virgin forest country. There are no hills or really sharp corners. They're very easy on the body. You just kind of ride along with your machine. They're very wide and very safe. They're probably marked the best in the province. You know where you are at all times. Of course you know where you're going, but knowing where you are sometimes is critical. And we pride ourselves in letting people know exactly where they are at all times.
This landmark along the trail is a memorial to one of the bloodiest clashes in Canadian labor history in 1963.
Well, we're a group from the Barrie area, Coldwater area, and we call ourselves the Sled Heads at Large, and basically we're all retired or semi-retired, and now all we do is live for snowmobiling in the wintertime, so we're always looking for good trails and great places to stay that are reasonably priced. So what we do is we go around and drive the trails and stay at places and write up on our website for people to find and see whether or not they want to stay there too.
This is late March, and riding everywhere else the snow has gone away well over a week ago, and the trails are holding up good for the late season. Often the trails along the Northern Corridor are some of the first to open and the last to close. They usually stay in great shape right up until the official time for trail closing in April. One of my past SnowTrails TV trips, we took the train from Sault Ste. Marie to Hearst and rode 4 days back.
From Cochrane to Smoot on A Trail is absolutely fabulous, all the way to where you take that junction to go to the fire tower. And then a little bit rougher as you're coming into smooth rock. It's getting a little bit thinner on the base, but they're still not bad for this time of year for sure. Cochrane and up the Abitibi Canyon was absolutely outstanding. We had about 10 to 15 centimeters worth of snow 2 nights ago, so it was just fresh powder over groomed trails. You can't get better than that.
About 80 miles from Kapuskasing, right in here in the snowmobile paradise of Ontario. We're in Hearst, Ontario, the moose capital of the world. They've got the moose here. There's also the largest pile of lumber I've ever seen in my whole life here. If you're looking for a great saddlebag tour, Hearst is often one of the stops on the top A trail. But they tell me there are some great local trails to ride here too, so if you come through, spend a day or two riding some of the local trails that they have here. Video Mike for SnowTrails TV saying we hope to see you out here in the trail in the paradise of Ontario. And remember, snowmobilers, there is no center line and the right side is mine. While snowmobiling here in Cochrane, there's a couple other things to do. One of them is visiting the polar bear habitat here. We're going to take a look at some of the polar bears having some fun playing and talk with the zookeepers about just how they take care of these polar bears here in Cochrane.
We have 3 polar bears here at the habitat. We have Aurora and Nikita. They were swimming in the pool. They are 6 years old and they're from Peawanuck, Ontario. And they came to their first facility when they were a few months old. Their mother was shot in a hunting accident, so they were brought to the Toronto Zoo, and then they went to St. Félicien in Quebec, and then they came here from St. Félicien. And then we have Nanook, who is 26 years old. He comes from the Northwest Territories. His mother was also shot, and he has been throughout a lot of facilities throughout Canada, and he also was at St. Félicien at the same time as the girls, and we all came here at the same time, which was in 2003, and that's the year we opened, in 2003. So we feed them fish and moose meat, and also in the summer more lettuce and carrots.
Yeah, we just try to follow their natural diet that they would have in the wintertime. So in the wintertime we increase their meat intake, and then in the summertime they eat mostly vegetables and barely any meat. We got a license to put live trout in the pool, and they really enjoyed that.
So how much does a polar bear eat a day?
About 15 pounds of meat in the winter, about half that.
Yeah.
In the summer we decrease it in the summer, so mostly just meat in the winter, about 15 pounds each. Polar bears, they don't hibernate. The only ones that would go into a hibernating state is females, but they don't even hibernate. They dig a den when they dig a den to have their cubs. So it's not hibernation. It's just denning up. That's what they call it, denning up to have their cubs. And they'll dig day beds to get out of the wind and the cold for a few hours to sleep.
Some of the other interesting things to see and do here while in Cochrane is visit the Vintage and Classic Snowmobile Club. They've got dozens of old snowmobiles here from the Johnsons and the Ski Whiz and old Polarises and Bombardiers. Let's check it out and take a look and see what's going on here in some of these cool places here in Cochrane.
We are presently at the Habitat Center in Cochrane here, which gracefully let us have a building here in Cochrane to display the snowmobiles that come out of this region. You can see as we have some of the early ones, 1960 Skidoo, tin cabs, we have double tracks, we have 43 different machines here showing off 15 to 17 different manufacturers. As you know, in the 70s, when things were good, there were manufacturers coming out of the woodwork. So since then, it's died down a bit. We're nearly down to 4 big manufacturers now, and we're trying to display what Snowmobile did to the north and to Cochrane here. Well, in Cochrane here we have over 500 kilometers of trail that the club maintains. We have a trail that leads you to the Quebec border. On the east side, we go south to Erica Falls to the next Snowmobile club. Up going north, we go to Fraservale. We have an opened up trail up there that's developed, and from there you can take the Powder Run with Bill Froud and go right up to Moosonee. We are renowned for the #1 snowmobile trails in Ontario. The club here, the Polar Bear Riders. So we do try to hold up that part of it.